Yeah, I just missed. Rolling left. Gotta give him a better ball.
You guys had a little extra time to decide to go for two. Just what were those conversations like when you were getting ready for that play?
Just getting to a play that we like. Again, it was there, and I gotta make it.
How much did your foot impact you?
0.
You guys offensively, good defense. What took you guys a while to start putting together drives that gave you a chance to score points?
You know, gotta be better at the details. Couldn't tell you exactly. Gotta go in and watch this and learn from it.
The reality hit you that you're not going to win the division now, first time in a long time.
Yeah. You know, that sucks, not giving ourselves a chance. You know, we're still in the playoffs, and that's the main thing.
How are you feeling in terms of your foot or ankle or anything? Did it get aggravated because of the?
I'm good.
Josh, you had a big chunk run in the first quarter off QB draw. It's like y'all kind of went away with that, especially like on 3rd and 1. Like, did that ever occur, like to try to get that going with you?
It occurred, but just trying to fill out the game and, you know, just running what's called.
How much does like bubble screens take away an element of your game?
What do you mean?
Like, you're throwing the ball laterally, it don't give you a chance to really scan the field, work a true progression, and make a clear-cut decision from the pocket.
Those have been really good for us. So I don't think it takes anything away from us. It adds another element that people have to think about.
Josh, you say this today, and you said before, running what's called. Is what's being called good enough?
Absolutely. We have to execute.
What did Brandon Cooks give you guys today?
Gave us some juice, some downfield passing game. Made a really good catch there in the 4th quarter. We're going to need more of that moving forward.
What did Philadelphia do, you know, defensively that kept you guys out of rhythm on game?
Well, they got a good front. They got a good defense. That's the defending Super Bowl champs for a reason. You know, they had a good plan. They get paid on that side of the football too. So, again, it just comes down to us executing, making one more play than they did, and obviously we saw that we didn't make that last play. I didn't make that last play. So, yeah.
We can see the frustration, obviously, but the belief in your coaching staff to go for it. What does that mean to you? And understanding, obviously, you guys still have games to be played.
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. Again, we can learn a lot from this experience. Would rather won and learn from that too, but again, I got to make a play.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Okay, hard-fought game. Came up, you know, on the short end of it here. Thought there were some good things in the game that we can build off of, and then some things definitely that we have to make sure we get shored up as we move forward here. With that, the time's yours.
What went into the decision, Sean, to go for 2 at the end?
Want to be aggressive, going for the win. You know, we feel like, you know, only a certain amount of time left at that point, and felt like we had a great call, great opportunity to go win it, and I'm going to be aggressive, so I'm not going to sit back.
Did having the kick blocked earlier impact your decision making?
Potentially. It wasn't everything, but you know, I trust Josh Allen with the ball in his hands, and I'd do it over again.
Coach, how tough can it be when the defense is playing lights out and just can't get nothing going offensively?
Yeah, some games are like that, you know, and that's a really good defense, well coached. You know, the front four is legit, as you guys saw, and there's a reason why they won the Super Bowl last year, and you know, they do a really good job. We had some opportunities. We didn't play as well as I would have liked to see us play, but we're going to learn some things from this game that we can do better as we move forward, and we're going to need to.
Run defense was a big topic of conversation coming in, so down DQ, down Jordan Phillips. What did you make of what those young defensive linemen did?
Yeah. No, I thought it was a really good effort defensively. Some things, of course, they went back as well, and some things we need to learn on that side of the ball as well. But that was a point of emphasis during the week. I thought the defensive staff did a great job. with the game plan. The guys executed. They were very physical in their gaps primarily, and guys were swarming, so it was good to see.
Did you notice a change at all, just the vibe of the defense when Shaq came in and made a couple plays?
You know, I don't know. I thought they were playing well prior to that. So unfortunately, TB went down. You know, Shaq came in and was ready to go, which is the important piece of that.
5 minutes though with no points. I know it's a good defense, but is that a concern? Because you're going to see defenses like that in the postseason when you get there.
No, we are, and we talked about that after the game. You know, we've got to learn some things from this game. I know we all want to win, right? You work hard during the week. We're a very competitive group. We want to win, and I want to win, right? So you learn things from this game that we've got to get shored up if we want to advance in the playoffs, and that's what I'm mostly focused on right now.
Obviously, those guys want to score on every drive from the opening kickoff all the way through, but do you think that maybe there might be a tendency within your team of, even if we don't get it going, we'll figure it out? Like, we'll just, because you have pulled so many out this year, is that a dangerous game to play?
That's not our mindset, Tim. I certainly understand why you'd ask that question because of the last few games in particular. That's not our mindset. Our mindset is to play a 60-plus minute game, whatever it takes. You know, they were doing some things, and again, they made some stops. Really, you know, without looking at the film, you say, hey, first down, you know, first down success, staying out of second down and long, staying out of third down and long. You're against a group that can flat out get after the passer, and it's not where you want to live for most of the game, and that's where I felt like we were for quite a bit of it. I did see some of the adjustments later in the game. We started getting the things, the ball out on the perimeter a little bit with the shorter passing game and out of Josh's hands into the flat. So those were good things. Hit a screen as well, a tie that got us going as well. So again, things we can learn that we're going to need to learn from and take forward with us as we move forward here and grow as an offense in this case.
We've asked you about downfield passing quite a bit all season. Completed three deep ones today. What significance can that hold for you guys? It's just you try to sort out your rotation for the playoffs and try and add another layer to your offense.
Yeah, I thought B. Cooks had a game for us. Shaves made a big play on the contested catch on our sideline there. So there was some production there, which is good to see. I believe in those guys. They work, like I told you last week, they work extremely hard, and we're going to need them to be productive for us in order to stay as a balanced offense, where it's not the ball's just not going to one person or one position group.
Sean, where's your level of concern with the number of hits Josh has taken? He was sacked 5 times today. It's up to 40 now on the year. That's the most in his career in a single season. The punishment that he's been absorbing in some of these games, where's your level of concern with that?
No, I'm always concerned. I said this to you after the Houston game, similar type defense, right, in terms of how they're built. So you're going to see it again in the playoffs. That's usually teams that are built up front are in the playoffs, and they have long success in the playoffs. So that's a part of us making sure we're shoring that piece of what we do up. And so it's never one position group. It's never one player. It's a deal where we got to continue to grow as an offense, and I'm confident in Joe and the offensive staff. They've done a lot of good things this year, and this film will speak to us. It really will.
Where do you feel you are up front defensively?
Well, tonight, we did some things. Got off the field on the third down. First down was the biggest thing for us. I believe we're growing, and we need to grow. It's the run defense that was asked about earlier. That was good to see. So that's part of how do you get the team as good as you can get it as you move into the playoffs, and identifying and being honest with yourself of this is what needs to change, this is what needs to improve, this is where we're good, and then the who's out there, right? So you guys know we've been trying to spin the dial, trying to figure things out, and tonight I was very, very pleased with what I saw from the defensive side. It wasn't perfect, and it's not going to be perfect, but some of those young guys, and then just the overall relentless nature of the defense and getting off the field on third down.
There's no question about Josh Allen's toughness. He said that foot had zero impact on him. But how concerning is this as you kind of keep going towards the playoffs here, and that's something that looked like he had a good time to look at?
Yeah, this past week he felt better and better during the week. Went into the game you know, playing the game, he got sore again, and so they did the X-rays, came back negative. Just wanted to see, make sure nothing else was going on there. So he's sore right now, but nothing new has popped up at this point.
On the blocked extra,
I'm sorry.
blocked extra point that they had when you guys scored your first touchdown, how much of that is them making a good play, and how much of it is poor execution? Like, admittedly, I don't know if it's driving, if it needs to be that low, or if they just made a great play.
Well, it was I would say their player is a great player and got penetration, so it's never usually not just one situation or one person. I think there's some things on our side we can do better also. So whether the kick needs to get up sooner in terms of the protection as well, that part as well. So it's, you know, as you guys know, it's when you're playing a good football team, it's the details matter. And every play matters. It's no different in the playoffs. Every last play is going to matter. And again, we talk about learning from tonight's game. That's an area we can learn from right there.
Coach, we know Josh is the toughest Greg and the fiercest competitor. Like, you know, on that last play, we all know he would want that back. What was your message to Josh, you know, right after that?
Same thing. Yeah, in the locker room we talked, and I'd do it again. He's got a heck of a quarterback. He's the best quarterback in the league, and I'd take him 1,000 out of 1,000 times to make that throw, and he'll make it. He will.
How close is Matt Prater to return?
Getting there. How close exactly I won't know until we get through into the start of the week this week. But from what he told me before the game, he's getting real close.
Sean,
Just
you
one
said
more
that,
on the two-point conversion.
Yeah.
Guys from the offense were saying that it really mattered to them, the trust you have in them and showing that. Was that a factor on top of the aggressiveness of the play calling, just showing guys that you believe in them going into the playoffs?
You know, that wasn't why I did it, but I appreciate them feeling that, and that's important as a coach. You want your players to know that you believe in them, and I do. And like I said, every situation is different. So, you know, if a certain amount of time on the clock, maybe we kick the extra point, maybe not. But you're trying to read the game, and then at the end of the day, as I said before, I trust those guys, and I trust Josh Allen.
Sean, knowing that you're going to be playing a playoff game in 2 weeks, what's your priority for next week in terms of the roster?
Yeah, where do you want to start? We got a lot of things we need to discuss as a leadership group, and I mean, you got the last game in Highmark Stadium here. That's important to me. It'll be important to our guys, to our staff. And there's other things that come into consideration, you know. So it won't be easy, but it is important that we have a good week here.
Sean, you set a standard for winning the division, and it's not going to happen this year. I know that's a goal at the beginning of the year. Does the mindset change at all? Is anything different now that it's going to be different now going forward?
In terms of?
Well, since they've clinched the division, that's what I mean, so.
Like, with what?
No, just in the sense of, like, I know that's your goal.
Because it was 5 years in a
Yeah,
row,
for
and
your
then
team
this year they
going
won it?
forward from this, yeah.
Are you saying because it was 5 years in a row, and then this year they won it?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know what your, Mike, help me out here.
Well, that's all, I just meant that is always.
Am I
been the goal.
disappointed, does it make me happy?
No,
I'm searching for what you want from me.
I just meant your mindset.
The answer is no, it
team.
doesn't make me happy,
All right.
but go ahead.
Okay, I just meant in terms of, that's been your goal at the beginning of the year, we're chasing that up to tonight, and now that that's over, anything changed for your team? No.
We focus on getting better. That's the piece we can control, Mike, and I'm respectfully with your question. I want to give you a respectful answer. It is important that we win the division. It's something we've taken a lot of pride in. That's obviously not in our control anymore, so we've got to focus on, as I've said before, here's where we're at. What are we going to do to shore things up? What are we going to do to learn from this game? And it's easy to say learn, but what are the hot spots that, hey, could become an Achilles heel if we don't fix it, right? And how do we fix it? Do we fix it with, you know, different schematics, or do we fix it with different, you know, approach or personnel? What is it, right? So we all want to win the game, but there's also things you learn from what unfolded on that field tonight.
What explanation were you given?
Update on a TV?
Say it again.
Any further update on TV?
Just a calf. I don't know the extent of it, Atlanta right now, but he was not able to return in the game.
What explanation, if any, were you given on the fumble in the first half with Josh?
Yeah, not much, really just, you know, what I saw on our video board was Josh's hand disappear and then on time, I would say his hand disappears between, you know, on the video shot at least, and the ball comes out down. So I didn't have a better replay of what was going on, but it did not look like there was like a grab of the ball and then the ball comes out, you know, a split second later. It just looked like his hand came down, the ball flew out at the same time, and it was able to fumble. So I trust that they, you know, looked at it with a fine-tooth comb there and ruled like they did. So that's nothing we can do about it.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about Greg Russo's play the last few weeks?
Yeah, last week obviously had the big game. Was very productive. Played more physical. When you rush, you got to bring a physical. That's got to be part of your toolbox. And looked like he had some production as well tonight, and especially early in the game, I think he got a hit on the quarterback there. So that'll be important for us, as I mentioned last week. That'll be important for us, Greg's play, as we move forward and try and get to the, hey, how do we look in a four-man rush? You know, so that's something those guys take a lot of pride in, and hopefully they're hitting their stride at the right time.
Coach, you're doing more with less. You took the defending world champions to the wire, down final point. I know immediately, you know, you haven't watched film, but what immediately did you learn from this?
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't all, the loss is the loss, but you got to look at the process and really hone in on what was good and make sure we double down on those things so the players understand that this is what it's going to take, what you just did right here. This is what's going to work for us as we move forward. And then over here, this isn't. And then we look at ourselves as coaches and you say, hey, what can we get better at? So you're constantly trying to retool and tweak things to get your team as good as it can possibly be.
Sean, is there any caliber update?
Nothing that I can talk about right now. I think he's moving in a good direction, but you know, a little bit of a, call it setback this past week maybe. So I don't know if it's going to affect his timeline or not. I don't know enough yet, but that's all I have for you right now. And if and when I do get something more, I'll get it to you.
The Patriots winning today made your odds or your chances that much longer to win the division. So going into the game, did that factor into your decision whether to go for 2 versus extending it? Would you have extended it if you had a greater chance to win the division?
We talked about that before the game. We always kind of talk about, especially late in the year, what does a tie do? What is, you know, especially with overtime, what does a tie do? What does, you know, a win do? Obviously, you start there and then you kind of go down from there. So, you know, again, I'll tell you this, and separate from the, you know, what was going on there, it's we play to win, and I coach to win. So if I had to do all over again, I'd do the same darn thing, and he would make the throw. So.
To Jay's question earlier about the hits.
Because I believe in him. I believe him.
To Jay's question earlier about Josh taking hits, did that have any factor in going for it, knowing like, hey, maybe he is a little bit banged up and we have one play here, as opposed to taking it potentially into overtime and maybe exposing him or making something worse?
You know, coming into the game, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have my eyes on Josh, right? Just because of how important he is to us, and we're in the playoffs. But I also know who he is, and he's as competitive as there is and as good as there is. But I also have a responsibility to protect him, to make sure he's as healthy as possible for us as we move into the playoffs. So that's what I think during the week somebody asked about it a little bit, or about looking at more than one thing, and I was like, that's what I was referring to when I said kind of multitasking. But I also don't want to introduce that into into his mindset nor the team's mindset of, hey, oh, if you know, I'm going to pull him. No, so we had eyes on him. I had eyes on him. So did Nate. And you know, you got to know, to get 17 off the field, you're going to have to. I'm going to have to wrestle him, basically.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.